Good morning, children. I am your social science teacher. Today we'll do with the new lesson crafts and industries, children. Children, in the previous class we have studied about the tribal people, how these tribal people were being thrown out of their places by the Britishers, we learned. Today the same crafts and industries chapter also by the Britishers, how it was being improved and how the Indians lost their textile industries in the country, we are going to study, children. Before I start the lesson, I would like to tell you the meaning of crafts. What is the meaning of crafts? It can be painting, pot painting, drawing, coloring. With the jute they make baskets. So all these crafts, handmade goods, are called as crafts, and industries, the chapter name, children. So industries in the pre-British period and the decline of Indian industries during the British period, industrial growth in the 20th century, case study of the textiles we are going to study, children. See, many ancient crafts that were on the verge of the extinction have been successfully revived by the efforts of some people. And the two crafts that have been revived from the verge of extinction are the ancient art of Lattu, wood-crafted toys from Varanasi. It has been revived. Okay, so we'll start with the lesson Industries in the pre-British period. So before the coming of the British industries in India, Indians used to produce fine quality cotton, silk, precious stones and different handcrafts items on a large scale before the Britishers entered our country. These goods had a great demand in the western markets, and the rulers used to use a large variety of goods, and these were produced in the royal karkhanas or workshops. Okay, and the European traders also made a huge profit by selling Indian goods in the European markets. So these European powers such as the British, the French and the Portuguese fought with each other to establish their monopoly over the lucrative trade with India, children. And the situations changed after the Industrial Revolution in Britain. So now, the Industrial Revolution in Britain saw the establishment of various industries in Britain and the large-scale production of factory-made goods. Textile and iron and steel industries played an important role in the Industrial Revolution. Britain now needed to find markets for the factory-made products, and the fundamental nature of trade between the Britain and India changed, and there was a major exporter and India turned into a major importer. So before the Britishers entered India, Indian trading was flourishing in the country, children. So these Indian textiles in the world market, how it was? It was known for their quality and fine craftsmanship. The quality of the goods and the workmanship was very good, and Indian textiles were exported to Southeast Asia, Java, Sumatra and Penang, and also to Central and West Asia. Lucknow, Agra, Banaras, Ahmedabad, Multan, Dhaka and Surat were major centers of textile production in India. And in Britain, calico and muslin were in huge demand from the 16th century. The European traders took Indian textiles to the European markets, where they became very popular. The East India Company traders bought Indian textiles at a very low price and made huge profits by selling them in the European markets. First, they used to buy it with our Indians for a very less cost and sell that in their countries for a huge profit. And all this, what happened there is the post-industrial revolution, that is the English textile industry, demanded a ban on the import of Indian textiles. Now, ban means they wanted to stop. They didn't want the Indian textiles to run. So keeping the interest of the English textile industry owners, The British government passed the Calico Act in 1720, which banned the use of printed cotton textile. They didn't want this cotton textile and the cotton prints. So chintz in England, that is like a silk cloth, that was famous in England, and they focused and they shifted to importing raw materials from India and exporting machine made goods to the Indian markets. Now when the Britishers were ruling in the country in India, what they did is they used to take the material from India and export it to England and made the machine made goods there, and they used to bring it and sell it in the Indian markets for more profit. And so now the goods coming from England were free of custom duties. It was free of custom duties because the Britishers were only ruling in India, so they need not pay the custom duty over here. And they divided many protective laws, and the Indian textile industries suffered huge losses. Now all the industries in India found loss because there was no manufacturing done in India. They used to manufacture everything in England, carrying our materials. The Character Act of 1813 opened the Indian market to non-East India Company and traders as well. So more and more machine-made goods entered the Indian markets. So what they did is, in 1813 they opened the Indian market to non-East Indian Company traders as well. So the non-East, the people also used to do trading in India, and so more and more machine-made goods entered the Indian markets. They brought it from England. Okay, this is about today's chapter, children. Thank you all, children. See, I'll be giving you a few question and answers, and a small worksheet will be given. Work it out. Thank you all. Have a nice day.